Washington, D.C. The year is 1900. In a red brick building on 14th Street, over 2,000 workers enter through iron gates every morning. They carry no weapons. They build no machines. But what they produce holds the power of an entire nation. They make money. Not coins, paper money, dollar bills. Today, a modern press prints 10,000 sheets per hour. Back then, 45. Every single bill passed through human hands. Every sheet was touched, pressed, inspected by someone who earned less than $2 a day. This is not a story about economics. This is a story about ink, sweat, cotton, and the hands that built American currency, one sheet at a time. The Bureau of Engraving and Printing, a 5-story red brick building at the corner of 14th Street and B Street, built in 1880, designed by architect James G. Hill. Pressed red brick walls, arched windows, Italian style mixed with Queen Anne details. From the outside, it looks like a government office. Inside, it's a factory. The main floor, rows upon rows of printing presses, over 300 machines in a single room. Above them, small wooden paddles attached to the ceiling spin slowly, trying to circulate the air. It doesn't work. The room is hot. The air is thick with the smell of ink, turpentine, and benzene. There is no air conditioning, no modern ventilation. In summer, temperatures inside reach over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Workers faint at their stations, but the presses never stop. This building will produce every single piece of American paper currency until 1914. Before a single drop of ink touches paper, there must be paper. But this is not ordinary paper. In Dalton, Massachusetts, 150 miles north of Washington, sits the Crane Paper Company, a small mill on the Housatonic River. They have been making paper since 1801. In 1879, they won a government contract. From that moment on, every single sheet of American currency paper comes from this one place. The recipe? 75% linen, 25% cotton, no wood pulp. The fibers come from textile scraps, old tablecloths, worn shirts, even women's undergarments. Zenas Crane, the founder, once placed an ad asking housewives for their rags. The process? Cotton and linen fibers are cooked under pressure in a giant steel ball called a rotary digester, 15 feet in diameter. The fibers are boiled, bleached, mixed with water into a slurry, then pressed into sheets. The finished paper has a unique feel. It bends without breaking. It survives water, folding, even a trip through a washing machine. And it is illegal for anyone except the Bureau to possess it. The paper arrives from Massachusetts by train. Large wooden crates. Each crate contains 20,000 sheets. The sheets are counted, weighed, inspected for defects. Inside the Bureau, a separate division handles nothing but paper. They call it the wetting division. You see, this paper cannot be printed dry. The intaglio process requires moisture. The paper must be damp so it can be pressed into the tiny grooves of the engraved plates. Workers feed sheets into wetting machines. Long metal rollers pull the paper through water baths. Not too wet, not too dry. The moisture must be uniform across every sheet. Once wet, the sheets go into humidors, large wooden cabinets lined with zinc. They wait there, sometimes for days, until the printing division is ready. Temperature and humidity are checked constantly. If the paper dries too much, it is useless. Every sheet that enters this building is tracked, numbered, accounted for. A missing sheet means an investigation. Before any printing happens, Someone must create the image. This happens in the design room on the upper floor. Banknote designers sit at large wooden desks near tall windows. Natural light is essential. They work with pencils, ink pens, fine brushes. Their tools have not changed in 50 years. A banknote design is not just art, it is security. Every curve, every line, every tiny pattern has one purpose: to make the bill impossible to copy. The designers create what they call geometric lathe work, complex patterns of interlocking lines that no human hand can draw freehand. These patterns are created with a machine called a geometric lathe. It carves precise circular patterns into metal. Portraits are drawn by hand. Borders are designed by hand. The lettering, United States of America, $1. This note is legal tender, all drawn by hand. Then everything is sent to the engravers. A single design can take months, sometimes years. The engraving division. This is where the magic happens. The Bureau employs two types of engravers. The first, letter engravers. They specialize in script and square lettering. Every word you see on a bill, they carve it into steel. The second, picture engravers. They create the portraits, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, the vignettes on the back, the eagles, the buildings. An engraver sits at a wooden workbench. In front of him, a small piece of soft steel, polished to a mirror finish. In his hand, a burin, a small steel rod with a sharp diagonal point. The cutting edge is no wider than a hair. He works under a magnifying glass. He cuts into the steel, line by line. Each groove must be precise. The depth of the cut determines how dark the line will print. Shallow cuts, light gray. Deep cuts, pure black. A portrait can take a year to complete. One mistake, and the engraver starts over. The Bureau guards its engravers carefully. They are the highest paid workers in the building. They cannot be replaced. The burin, the engraver's primary tool. It has not changed in 400 years. A square steel rod about 4 inches long. One end is sharpened at a 45-degree angle. The other end fits into a wooden handle shaped like a mushroom. The handle rests in the palm. The fingers guide the blade. The engraver does not draw. He carves. He pushes the burin forward, cutting a thin curl of metal from the surface. This curl is called the burr. After each cut, he scrapes the burr away with a tool called a scraper. The technique requires absolute control. The pressure must be constant. The angle must be exact. Too deep, and the line is too dark. Too shallow, and the line disappears. To create shading, the engraver cuts parallel lines close together. This is called hatching. For darker areas, he crosses the lines. This is cross-hatching. The spacing between lines, sometimes less than 1/100th of an inch. There is no eraser. There is no undo. The engraver works in silence for hours, barely moving.
Notice how the individual cuts begin.
Once an engraving is complete, it must be copied. This process is called siderography. The problem: a single engraved die cannot print millions of bills. The steel would wear down. The solution: transfer the image to multiple printing plates. A technician, called a siderographer, operates a machine called a transfer press. He places the original engraved die into the press. Above it, a steel cylinder called a transfer roll. The press applies enormous pressure. The transfer roll is pressed against the die and rocked back and forth. Slowly, the image transfers from the die to the roll. But now it is reversed, like a mirror image. Next, the siderographer presses the transfer roll against a blank steel plate. The image transfers again. Now it is correct, matching the original die. This process is repeated. One original die becomes dozens of identical printing plates. The Steel Plate Transferers Association, founded in 1899, protects this trade. At its peak, it has only 80 members. They are specialists.
The ink, green on the back, black on the front. The Bureau makes its own. In the basement, workers operate grinding machines. Large steel rollers turn slowly, crushing pigments into oil. The air is thick with fumes. Workers wear cloth masks, but the ink still stains their hands, their clothes, their skin. The base pigments, carbon black for the front, chromium oxide for the green back. These are mixed with linseed oil, boiled until thick. The mixture is ground under heavy rollers for hours until the consistency is perfect. Not too thick, not too thin. Quality control tests every batch. Technicians spread ink samples on glass plates, comparing colors. They test viscosity, how easily the ink flows. They test drying time. A batch that fails is destroyed. In 1904, the Washington Post reports that ink from the Bureau pollutes the Potomac River. Fish are dying. The Bureau proposes a catch basin. It is never built. The workers keep grinding. Now we enter the main press room, the heart of the operation. Row after row of machines fill the floor. They call them spider presses. The name comes from the long spoke-like levers on the side, 8 metal arms radiating from a central wheel, like the legs of a spider. Each press is about 6 feet long. A flat metal bed sits in the center. Above it, 2 heavy steel rollers. The levers connect these rollers through a system of gears. The press is not powered by electricity, not powered by steam. It is powered by human muscle. A printer grabs the spider levers with both hands. He pulls. The gears turn. The rollers spin. The bed passes between them. Pressure, hundreds of pounds per square inch. In 1900, the Bureau operates over 300 of these presses. Each one produces 45 sheets per hour. That's 12 million sheets per year from hand power alone. Steam-powered presses exist. They are faster, but Congress has banned them. Politicians fear that automated presses will eliminate jobs, so the spider presses stay. The plate printer. He is always a man. This job requires upper body strength. His workstation, a spider press, a small iron stove, a jar of ink, a pile of muslin rags, and an engraved steel plate. First, he heats the plate on the stove. The metal must be warm, not hot, about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Warm ink flows better into the tiny grooves. Second, he applies ink. He uses a leather roller called a brayer. He rolls ink across the entire surface of the plate, pressing it into every engraved line. Third, he wipes. He takes a piece of starched muslin called tarlatan and rubs the plate vigorously. This removes ink from the flat surface, but leaves it in the grooves. Fourth, he polishes. He uses the palms of his bare hands. He rubs the plate in circular motions, removing every last trace of ink from the smooth surface. His hands turn black. The ink enters his skin. It never fully washes off. Experienced printers can be identified by their hands. Permanently stained, gray-black, a mark of the trade. The press feeder. She is always a woman. Why? Because no man will take this job. It pays $1.25 per day, less than half what the printer earns. Men refuse it. Women have no choice. Her job assist the printer. When he finishes preparing the plate, she takes a dampened sheet of paper from a stack beside her. She lays it carefully onto the inked plate, aligning the edges perfectly. If the paper shifts, the print is ruined. The printer pulls the spider levers. The bed passes through the rollers. Pressure forces the damp paper into the grooves of the plate. The ink transfers. She lifts the printed sheet carefully. Wet ink smears easily. She places it on a drying rack beside her. Then she does it again and again, 45 times per hour, 500 times per day. Standing, no chair, no break except lunch, for 10 hours. A passionate letter to the Washington Post in 1882 describes these women. What used to be the forms of 30 women, all the days of their youth given to the service of the government, now almost wrecked. A sheet of currency is printed twice, first the back, then the front. The backs are printed first because green ink dries faster. The printer uses a plate engraved with 4 bill designs, 4 bills per sheet. Heat the plate, roll on green ink, wipe with tarlatan, polish with hands. The press feeder lays the paper, the printer pulls the levers, pressure, release. The printed sheet goes to a drying rack. It will hang there for 72 hours, 3 days. The ink must cure completely. If a sheet is printed on the front too soon, the green ink will smear. Drying racks fill entire rooms, thousands of sheets hanging from wooden rods. The air smells of linseed oil. Workers move through narrow aisles, checking for defects. The Bureau calls these rooms work in process vaults. At any given time, they contain millions of dollars in unfinished money. 72 hours later, the backs are dry. The sheets return to the wetting division. They must be dampened again. Moisture allows the paper to receive the black ink properly. Back to the press room. A different plate, the front design. Portrait, denomination, Treasury seal location. $1, United States of America. The printer applies black ink, wipes, polishes. The press feeder aligns the sheet. This alignment is critical. The front must match the back exactly. A shift of even 1 millimeter is visible. The printer pulls the levers, pressure, release. Another 72 hours of drying, then examination, then numbering, then sealing. The bill is not finished. A single sheet of currency takes almost 2 weeks to complete, 6 days of drying alone. Every printed sheet passes through the examination room. Long wooden tables, bright natural light from tall windows. Women sit on stools, hunched over stacks of currency, magnifying glasses in hand. They check every sheet, every bill, looking for defects, ink smears, uneven printing, misalignment between front and back, paper tears, dust spots, any flaw, and the sheet is rejected. The rejected sheets go to a separate pile. They are counted, recorded, then destroyed by burning under armed guard. The examiners work in silence. They are paid by the piece. The more sheets they inspect, the more they earn. Speed matters, but mistakes matter more. An examiner who passes a defective sheet can be fired. In 1904, women begin staffing this department. The work requires patience, attention to detail, and small hands. The Bureau discovers women make fewer errors. The men are reassigned.
Accuracy is paramount.
Every bill has a serial number. Every bill has a treasury seal. These are added last. The numbering division operates different machines, not spider presses, flatbed letter presses. The type, small metal characters arranged in a frame, prints the serial numbers in red or blue ink. A worker called a numberer operates the press. He feeds sheets one at a time. The press stamps. A slight impression, red ink, 8 digits, a letter prefix. The serial number identifies when the bill was printed, which plate was used, which series it belongs to. If a bill is counterfeit, the serial number reveals it. Next, the Treasury seal. A circular emblem with scales, a key, and 13 stars, printed in the same red or blue ink. The seal is the final mark of authenticity. A sheet with serial numbers and seals is now legal tender. Until this step, it is just printed paper.
4 bills per sheet. The sheets must be separated. The trimming division operates large guillotine cutters, heavy iron frames, long steel blades, operated by foot pedal. A worker called a cutter stacks sheets on the bed of the machine. He aligns them with a metal guide. He presses the pedal, the blade drops, a clean cut. First, the sheets are cut in half, 2 bills on each half. Then cut again, 4 individual bills. Then the edges are trimmed, excess paper removed. Trimmed paper is collected, counted, weighed. If the weight does not match the expected amount, investigation. Every scrap is accounted for. Cut bills go to inspection again, final check. Then they are stacked, banded into packages of 100, wrapped in brown paper, sealed with Treasury stamps, ready for delivery.
The Bureau employs over 2,000 workers. More than half are women. Press feeders, examiners, counters, folders, the lowest paid positions, the hardest work. They stand for 10-hour shifts, 6 days a week. The building has no air conditioning. In summer, women faint from heat. In winter, the large windows let in cold drafts. There's no heat near the presses. The air is toxic, ink fumes, benzene vapors, turpentine. The Bureau provides no masks for press feeders, no gloves. The women's hands crack and bleed from constant contact with dampened paper and ink. Night shifts are common. When demand increases, the Bureau operates around the clock. Young women finish their shifts at 2 or 3 in the morning. They walk home alone through dark streets. The neighborhood around 14th Street is not safe. In 1909, the women organize. They form a union. They petition for a raise from $1.50 to $2 per day. The Bureau director says he sympathizes, but raises are a matter for Congress. Congress does nothing.
Finished currency must leave the Bureau. This is the most dangerous moment. In 1900, the Bureau has no armored vehicles. Currency is loaded into horse-drawn wagons, covered with canvas tarps, guarded by unarmed clerks. The wagons travel a few blocks to the Treasury Department, a short distance, but anything can happen. Theft, robbery, fire. Starting in 1910, guards are authorized to carry weapons and wear uniforms. Armored wagons appear, but in 1900, security relies on secrecy. The Bureau varies delivery times, changes routes, hopes no one notices. Inside the Bureau, security is tighter. Workers enter through a single gate. They are searched on the way out, pockets checked, bags inspected. Anyone caught with unauthorized paper is arrested immediately.
Guards patrol the building day and night. The vault where finished currency is stored has a combination lock. Only 3 people know the combination. Behind the main building stands a smaller structure, the laundry building. Its sole purpose, washing muslin rags. Every day, printers use hundreds of pieces of tarlatan, the starched muslin used to wipe ink from plates. By the end of a shift, these rags are black with ink, soaked with linseed oil. They cannot be thrown away, too valuable, too dangerous. They could be used to forge currency. Workers in the laundry building wash these rags by hand. Hot water, lye soap, scrubbing, rinsing, drying on lines in the basement. Then the rags return to the press room, used again and again until they fall apart. The wastewater from this laundry is black. It flows into the Potomac River. Fish die. The river turns dark near the outflow pipe. Officials complain. The Bureau proposes solutions. None are implemented. This continues for decades. The river is not a priority. The money is.
By 1912, things begin to change. Congress finally allows power presses. Steam machines replace spider presses. Production increases. Jobs disappear. In 1914, the Bureau moves to a new building, larger, more modern. The old red brick building becomes office space. Eventually, part of it is demolished to make room for the Holocaust Museum. The spider press operators, the press feeders, the hand engravers, most are forgotten, but their fingerprints remain on every bill they made. In 1900, it took the Bureau 1 year to produce what modern machines create in 2 days. Every sheet was touched by human hands. Every bill was wiped, pressed, examined, counted by someone earning less than the value of the money they made. The next time you hold an old bill, feel the raised ink under your fingertips. That texture came from pressure. Pressure from a spider press, pulled by a man's arms, fed by a woman's hands. That is how they made money in 1900.